Yeah, well, today was the first day we could wear shells, or not could. It's just the way we do it. 2 days acclimation in shorts and helmets, and one day in spider pads, and shells, and then Friday we'll go in pads. So I think that the progression has been good with the players. I think the challenge remains what I talked about before after the first practice is people taking individual responsibility to be accountable, but then was the message after the first day. All right, but then the challenge is how do you sustain that? How do you do that day in and day out? How do you do that when you start to get tired and sore? How do you do that when things get more difficult? There's a lot more assignments, a lot more things to think about, a lot more adjustments to be made, so that you really have to stay focused and stay zeroed in on giving effort, playing with good intangibles, being disciplined, doing your job. Everybody being responsible for and accountable individually to do what they're supposed to do to make this team what this team is able to be. So that's the challenge now: is can you do that on a consistent basis? And I think this team needs to, and it's a work in progress to develop leadership. It's a work in progress to develop togetherness. And I think this team will learn from the mistakes that they make as they go through, and leadership will emerge, and we'll be better off for it. So we're excited about the young players that we have here. Having these 15 guys here and be able to coach these guys, I think is really a good thing for our team. We're certainly looking forward to the other young players that will come in summertime. But these guys being here every day has been a real asset for them in terms of them being able to gain knowledge and experience in terms of what they do and how they're doing it. So it's really good. I'm pleased that we made the progress that we made. Certainly not satisfied with where we are. We got a long way to go, but we're looking forward to it. And look, I think you all saw the statement that Jay Graham, put out. Look, we Jay made a decision to do what he did, and we're going to support him every way that we can. And we certainly wish him and his family the very best for what they do. Obviously, our plan is to improvise and adjust. I think we have other people that can help us coach special teams. Todd Watson, who was an assistant intern doing special teams. We just activated him to, do it for now, and we'll start a search and see if we can find the best coach. And, there's no timetable for doing that. We want to really try to get the best person that we can get. It's not an ideal time. Lots of people in spring practice, so we'll just have to see how it goes and how that process ends up. We just started that a little bit today.
Okay, thanks, Coach. We'll start with Charlie Potter.
Yeah, Coach, I just want to ask you about Kenson. So what kind of shape is he in, and what have you seen from him so far this spring?
He's doing great. He's got great speed. He's gotten bigger and stronger. He's really playing fast. He's playing really good on special teams. He's a potential kickoff returner for us. He was before when he was a freshman. So, that's certainly a role, and he's made great progress as a running back. He's got pretty good carryover knowledge and experience wise from the year before, and I'm really pleased with what he's been doing so far.
Okay, we'll go to Michael Casagrande. Michael, go ahead.
Yes, when you look at the offense and considering how many guys graduated or went pro, what are your biggest curiosities as to what you'll be able to accomplish this spring in these 15 practices?
Well, I just think we really got to focus on, how do we improve and develop the players that we have. I think we went through the similar process last year on defense where we had like 8 new starters, 4 new guys out of 5 in the secondary. It's going to be way a little bit, especially this spring with Emil out and, Mechie out. So those are 2 significant returners that really won't be there. So Evan Neal is the only starter in the offensive line. We really feel like we got a pretty good group of running backs. This is going to be great for them to get a lot of experience. It's going to be great for the young guys to get a lot of experience at receiver. So we're just going to try to develop these guys one day at a time. We've got 3 quarterbacks in the program. You know, Bryce is probably a little ahead of everybody else because he got a lot of reps last year, even though he didn't get to play that much. He got a lot of reps in practice. There's a lot of good carryover for him. I think he's very confident and he's done a really good job of preparing so far. So the other 2 guys, they're working, they're making improvement. So we're just really focused on improvement, you know, not really the outcome. Certainly, what do we have to do with all these play outcome we want? And, you know, it's going to be a work in progress, no doubt, but that's why we're practicing.
Go to Aaron Suttles.
In your view, what does it say about the competitive character of Brian Robinson that he not only stuck around the program for as long as he did, but chose to come back for another year?
Well, I think it's really says a lot about his maturity and understanding that, you know, if he came back, he would have a more significant role, get to play more, get to show people, you know, what he's really capable of and what he can do. When he did play last year, he played extremely well for us. I was really pleased. He just didn't play that much. And it really wasn't his fault. You know, Najee was one of those kind of guys that, you know, the more he played, the more he ran the ball, the better he got. So he really wasn't one of those guys that you wanted to take in and out of the game all the time. You know, he's just would get on a roll and I think that probably affected B time. But it wasn't his fault. We had all the confidence in the world in him last year, and I think he knows what he has an opportunity to do this year, and he's so far really been great in the offseason program and had 3 really good days, and he's providing leadership out there. So I'm encouraged.
I have time for 2 more. We'll go to Tony Sakalas.
Nick, we've seen a lot from Jaleel Billingsley at the tight end position, but outside of that, we haven't seen as much from them. What is your assessment of the rest of the tight ends in that unit and how they've progressed heading into the spring?
Well, you know, I mean, it's really too early to really tell, you know, that much about that many guys. You know, Robbie Oots has got a pulled hamstring. You know, the other freshman tight end is, you know, coming off an ACL, so he's still sort of rehabbing and not 100%, but doing a really good job. You know, Major Tennyson, so he's limited in practice. So Latu has done a really good job so far. He's really showing some maturity and done a really good job. Jaleel has done a good job. You know, we play Kendall at offensive line and tight end both in practice. So, you know, he's was very effective as a blocker, you know, last year, which I think gives us another option at least at that position. So it's been really not enough information to really evaluate anyone to this point. And really the most important thing is just taking these guys from where they are and getting them to improve, grow knowledge and experience and understanding so that they can play fast and get better. So we haven't had much of an opportunity to do that yet.
Okay, well, from Chattanooga. Unmute yourself, David.
Nick, with the number of mid-years that you've got and are at other SEC schools, I was wondering, in all your years of coaching, have you had a mid-year that was so impressive during off-season workouts and maybe through those first 4 or 5 practices, like that first full padded practice, to where you knew you could count on him? Or is that just not long enough of a time frame to judge?
Well, I don't think it's fair really to judge guys, you know, that quickly. I think you see potential in guys, and you start to see after maybe 6, 7, 8 practices, maybe after the first scrimmage, you know, that if these guys continue to improve and progress, they're going to be able to help us in some regard. You may even be able to see that, you know, the guy's got a chance to be a potential starter, you know, at some position. But it's a starter at that point. You just see that they have the ability, if they progress, to be able to do that. And we played a ton of freshmen around here in the past now, and you know, some of them developed throughout the course of the year, played more in the second half than the first half. But if they can help us win and they can make a contribution to the team, we play them. We've played a lot of freshmen, given a lot of guys a lot of opportunity, and for the most part, they've done a pretty good job in whatever their role has been. But I think it's way too early to really tell, about how that's going to progress at this point.